welcome to Mission Completer Cycle. Today we're taking a look at the Vectrex, one of the more unique machines in gaming history. There you go. Immediately it should be very apparent that the most striking feature is probably the integrated screen in the console itself, and is housed in an all-in-one unit. I think it's also interesting to note the similarities between this and the Apple Macintosh. As you can see, it uses a very similar design, right down to the handle at the back. Interestingly enough, the Vectrex was released 2 years before the Apple Macintosh. Now, the Vectrex is an 8-bit machine in the second generation, so it's contemporary of the Atari 2600, the Intellivision, the ColecoVision consoles of that era. It was created by a company called GCE, General Consumer Electronics, who was shortly after the release of the machine actually taken over by Milton Bradley, and the machine was further distributed under the Milton Bradley label. Looking at the technical specifications of the machine, it is stated an 8-bit machine. It uses a Motorola 68A09, which was Motorola's one of their last 8-bit processors, and it's actually quite a bit stronger and better than things like the MOS 6502 and Zilog Z80, which would be the more common processors at the time. Looking at the console itself, it's all housed in one unit. You've got the big screen. You've got on the side, on the left-hand side, you have the cartridge slot. At the back, you've got a nod towards portability by having an integrated handle. You have a brightness display knob, and then in front, interestingly enough, you turn it around again, you have a game controller, all nicely and neatly integrated. Now the game controller isn't physically attached to the machine permanently. It just plugs into a port here, and there's a second port for a second controller. Also, you have a reset button, and you have a knob that can turn to turn the machine on and off, and also acts as the volume control. Now, about the defining feature of this machine, of course, the vector display. Instead of using a raster display like a normal TV at the time that light up individual pixels to make up the image on the screen, here the electron beam is deflected to actually draw straight lines on the screen, similar to the way an oscilloscope works. This was used also in arcades at the time for games like Asteroids, Star Wars and Tempest, but this is the only home console ever to use that. You can almost call it an evolutionary dead end in game consoles. But it did do some amazing graphics actually for the time. It is black and white only. In order to get any color or differentiation on the screen between games, a screen overlay was used that you can put over the screen, and that provided you with some color. Game cartridges for the machine was square little cartridges, fairly standard for the time. They were actually called cassettes. They came within boxes, again fairly standard for the time, within which you got your manual, your game cartridge, and also one screen overlay. The Vectrex had a very short time on market. It was released in November 1982, which turned out to be spectacularly unfortunate timing for them, because in 1983 the US went through what is known as the big video game crash, which decimated the video game industry in 1983. So shortly thereafter, early in 1984, Milton Bradley basically threw in the towel and discontinued the machine. It started being sold at about $199, which in today's money would be exactly the same almost as an Xbox One X. And it was, in the end, they tried to sell it for as low as $50, but sadly the machine was relegated to history shortly in 1984. Okay, let's have a look at games. So the machine has a game built in called Mindstorm, which is an Asteroids clone, which is of course perfect for a Vectrex display. If we turn it on, you have the boot up with the boot up screen, and it boots straight into the game. if you don't have a game cartridge included. As you can see, the graphics, though black and white, is really good for the time. There's the diagonal lines is really straight and no pixel, because it isn't built up of individual pixels, but rather drawn as straight lines. Now, in order to get more color, as we said, you put your overlay down, and there you go. Your game controller has a joystick and 4 buttons that you can use to control the action on screen. As you can see, a truly unique machine, and one that actually is still quite a lot of fun to play with. Check out our other videos on individual games, and also my kids' reaction to some of these games. If you liked the video, please give us a like or subscribe. Hope to see you soon.